Please stand up. And also I can see we've got ministers' representatives, Mage Queenet Masugu, who's a representative from our parent ministry, who's a acting TUG, I hope I'm correct, the TUG at the ministry, please, by a show of hand, and also, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of you, stakeholders, our residents, business stakeholders in Ezulwini, and also my team, Ezulwini Municipality Management, mostly the CEO, and I know we've been having today. I hope it's going to be a successful meeting, but then by the fact that you are here already, it means this meeting is going to be a success. So please relax. Enjoy the presentations which are going to be presented today, so that you appreciate and see what the municipality has been doing in the previous financial year. So basically, this meeting is to reflect and give account on the previous financial year for the year 2022-2023. May I mention that this meeting is one of our highest priorities. We have to exhibit accountability, you know. It's one, and transparency, which are council. We are humbled and appreciative to all of you for making time to come and be with us this morning, and to our esteemed stakeholders. For the year under review, we witnessed an increase in commercial construction, since I'm in the engineering department. So we witnessed an increase in commercial buildings. As you can see, Ezulwini is evolving to be this amazing and beautiful town. And I hope one day we are going to be a city. And I hope we will be a city one day, as we are growing at a very tremendous rate. Moreover, we have managed to deliver on our ITPs, and those will be presented and elaborated in the presentation that are going to be presented today. With those few words, I hope we are going to have a fruitful and a beautiful meeting. So may I start with the agenda for the day. I'm not going to keep you for long, since I know we have other commitments and business for the day. So this is the agenda for the day. It's only 6 items, and I believe with your cooperation, we will rush through the program. In front of you is Mr. Putuma Shongwe. I work for the municipality in the engineering department, and I must say it's an exciting office where you get bullets, you know, each and every day from you, stakeholders, and with your interactions and you know, complaint times, and others also comment the work that we do in my office. It's a very interesting space. So this is our agenda for the day. The opening, we'll have a report of the audited financial statements for the financial year 2022-23. And then from there have the annual performance to see the performance for the municipality. And then from there, we will have comments and reactions. And then the mayor has prepared a very nice breakfast. So you will indulge yourself from that breakfast, and then come back, have a Q&A, and then have stakeholder engagement and have contributions from yourself, since we're in the budgeting phase for the next financial year. So at this point, may I request the mayor, council chairperson Mage Mbingo, to come forward and present the audited financial statements. A round of applause as she comes to the podium.
May I acknowledge the presence of the DG, who's the representative of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, my fellow councillors, CEO of Ezulwini Town Board, the executive staff, residents and stakeholders of Ezulwini, the media present, and our online viewers. Good morning. I'm going to be presenting the audited financial statements for the year 2022-2023 financial year. This is how my presentation is going to be like. I'm going to have the introduction, the highlights, and the challenges. The financial statements were prepared in line with the Urban Government Act of 1969 and the Urban Government Financial Regulations of 1969, as well as in the manner required by the International Financial Reporting Standards. The audit was carried out by PricewaterhouseCoopers in accordance with international standards on auditing. The audited financial statements were approved by the Council on September 20th, 2023. A risk-based approach was used to audit the financial statements. The auditors issued an unqualified, or you may say a clean audit opinion, which means that the financial statements presented fairly in all material respects. The financial position of the Council as at March 31st, 2023, matters raised in the report to management were not materially significant to justify any modification and or qualification of the audit opinion. Displayed there is the income and expenditure statements, which indicate that the increase in direct cost was mainly due to the maintenance of road infrastructure, such as the rehabilitation of Mpumalanga Road. The total of road maintenance amounted to 1.1 million in the year under review. The direct cost also increased due to the transport plan exercise that the town is currently conducting, which amounted to 727,000, as well as refuse management costs, which amounted to 713,000 in the year 2022-2023 financial year. We are still, as we saw on the income and expenditure statement, we are now going to move on to the statement of financial position. Just to finish off on the slide that we were looking at previously, which is the income and expenditure statement, there is also a show that the main increase in staff costs is as a result of engagement of new employees, as well as a cost of living adjustment to members of staff. There was also a 28% increase in operational costs, which was due to Council implementing its day-to-day activities. These costs include costs such as motor vehicle repairs and maintenance amounting to 316,000, fuel amounting to 898,000, and environmental management amounting to 662,000 emalangeni. The operational cost also includes expenses incurred in organizing elections for new councillors, as the term of office of the previous councillors had lapsed. 348,000 was spent on the elections. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going to move on to the next slide. 'We're going and you'll have an appreciation of the statement of financial position as it stands. In the year 2023, we had total assets of 142,409,921, and in 2022, 133,118,849, which shows an increased movement. And then we have the statement of financial position continued. There's an increased movement on retained surplus, and on employee benefits liabilities, there's a downward movement. Property, plant, and equipment has increased from 70 million to 86 million, which is equivalent to 22%. This is due to depreciation of 3,759,659,000, and the inverse impact of additions of 19,628,455. So the Ezulwini Town Council's financial position has increased from 133 million to 142 million, which shows a 9 million increase when compared to the 2022-2023 financial year. Highlights from the statement of the financial position. Property, plant, and equipment has increased, which I've just mentioned, from 70 million to 86 million by 22%. And the Ezulwini Town financial position has also increased by 9 million. We have challenges that have been encountered during the financial year, the main ones being the collection of rates. Council continued to have challenges in terms of collection of revenue, especially rates which saw our trade and other receivables increasing from 31,472,046 to 35,523,758, an increase of 13%. 32% of the 2022-2023 receivables are due to government, 43% due to the hospitality sector, is a tourist town, and the final 25% is due from privately owned ratepayers. These are the challenges that we have heard on the year 2022-2023. Ngiyabonga. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. A round of applause for her as she sits down. And I hope it was clear, esteemed stakeholders, residents. And as she had mentioned, we had the challenge of a slow collection of rates, which emanated from, closing down of some of the tourist industries or other establishments in Ezulwini. And since we all know Ezulwini is a tourist town, but then I wish that one day we can be a tourist destination for Eswatini. So I don't know if there are any comments and reactions. Just a few, I'll take maybe a few. And then we carry on with the program. By a show of hand, any comments and reactions to what has been on the audited financials that have been presented before you? By a show of hand, any comments? Then it means, okay, there's one. May I request that, say, you introduce yourself? If you're representing an establishment or an institution, mention that as well. Management, please take questions, note the questions or comments if need be. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My congratulations to a very professional presented statement of the financials. My only comment is, isn't it common cause that all the stakeholders and everybody involved at Ezulwini should get these financials a couple of days before the meeting takes place, so everybody can study it peacefully at home to make maybe any comments. Like this, we can only read it and accept it and be happy with it. But my recommendation is in future that everybody gets a copy of these financials a couple of days before the meeting starts. Thank you very much.
Please introduce yourself. I didn't get your name.
My name is Horst Sailor from the Cattle Paddle. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Horst. I've been getting your correspondence in the office, so at least now I can put the face to the name. Thank you. So, Mr. Horst is just giving a recommendation to the council that we improve on sending out these audited financials to the public for them to appreciate and read through with understanding. However, we have prepared these documents, and we will be getting them soon. I don't know if Dotva will be distributing these ones. However, they've been prepared, and they'll be sent to your addresses. Also, I forgot to mention that we also have a finance committee in the council, which is led by Council Chairperson Mr. Sandile, who I had introduced. Part of the finance committee, we have Dr. Ekman Mazimbugo, who's the vice chairperson for that committee, and also Councillor Ro being a member of that committee. So they are the ones who make the decisions for every decision that has to be made when it comes to finances within the municipality. So with the guidance and leadership of the finance committee, we are able to then get advice on how to handle our finances within the municipality. So without, I don't know if there's another comment or reaction from what has been presented. Okay.
If we could introduce our new CEO. Some of us haven't met him as yet, and we'd appreciate at least put a face to the name.
Thank you, but I didn't get your name so that we all know each other. You know what I mean?
Sean Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Sean Stewart. The CEO will, since I'm a young somebody in the organization, I will leave that to my superiors, the council chairperson, to do the introductions of the town clerk. However, he'll also be coming in front to also give an annual performance for the previous financial year. So, Mr. Stewart, the CEO will be introduced in this meeting. Mr. Horst, the audited financials were also published on our social media page. So I would appreciate if you can follow us, Ezulwini Municipality, on our social media page, where you will be informed on the activities of the town, and also get this information. Also on this AFS were also published on our local newspapers this week. So if you bought the newspaper, you would have seen the publication of the AFS. However, we are noting it, and we'll be sending this HEM report to your address, Mr. Horst. May I continue with the program to our third item, where we'll be presenting our annual performance and activities that were carried out in the previous financial year. The town clerk the town clerk will be presenting on this one. So yes, the town clerk is relatively new to the organization. He joined us in January. Sorry, it's just that a lot of people are talking to me on the floor, so I'm a bit confused. So he joined us in January, and he's been with us till this far. And since he joined us, we've been running each and every day, sleepless nights, you know. And I can see he's really enjoying the office. And and may I ask Mr. Matogoza Shongwe to come in front to give us the annual report for the previous financial year. A round of applause as he comes up. Do the honors of introducing the town clerk.
I'll just stand next to him as he prepares his speech. Residents and stakeholders, it is a pleasure for us as council to present to you our new face for the council, our CEO, Mr. Matogoza Shongwe, who has vast experience in this local government. He has worked for the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, so he is a best fit for the kind of job that he's been recruited for. Can you please welcome Mr. Shongwe Matogoza with a round of applause.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Special greetings to Mayor, and the Vice Mayor, and our honorable councillors, and also to our former Mayor who was running the interim council. And special greetings to all of you. Thank you for honoring us by coming through. Not only is it raining, but obviously you are people who have a lot up your sleeves in terms of the work that you do, so we don't take it for granted. I hope what we present will be a reflection of what you expect out of this municipality. Also, special greetings to the acting DUG. I always say that she's the first town clerk for this municipality, and she's been with us for such. Our performance report reflects on the work that we have been doing from 2022, April, up until 2023, March. Now, one of the things that we have stated and that which we need to understand is the uniqueness of the municipality that you have. March, actually around about May 2022, the former CEO resigned from office. And then from there, Mr. Shongwe, who was up here, our town engineer, took up the position of acting CEO. I think he ran with that position for 6 months. And then after that, our former town planner, starting in January 16th, eventually that we are reporting on. It's no small wonder that the municipality has been able to hold it together. And for this reason, I want to acknowledge all of the three people that I've mentioned, because they've kept it. I want to acknowledge the management, because at the end of the day, they are the implementers of the programs that the municipality is running. I also want to acknowledge our councillors, because surely they provided the necessary oversight to ensure that we are able to do that which we do, including an interim council which started running, very unique for a period of about 6 months, which hasn't happened before in the history of municipalities within the kingdom. So the report we present I understand that it is said that too many cooks spoil the broth. But in this instance, it's a wonderful mixed masala. Okay? It's a wonderful mixed masala. If you've ever had the opportunity to eat biryani, you will understand that it is a mix of so many spices and so many things. It's savory, and it makes for a good feed. So we hope that this performance report will reflect exactly that in terms of what we've done. I'll continue as they try to assist me. Critical in terms of what we do is that we've got a guiding document, which is the integrated development, primarily referred to as the IDP. Now, it's important for us to understand that the IDP is what gives us guidance and direction in terms of where we are going to spend the money. So all that you will find amongst the departments is that they have been guided by the IDP. Now, it's important also to say that the IDP is a document where then you, as stakeholders, as residents, as ratepayers, you must contribute. Because that which you want to see and how you want to see the town grow must be encapsulated in the IDP. Because if it isn't, the chance of it getting done are very, very slim. The municipal space, the urban local government municipal space, is a highly regulated space. There's legislation, there's policy, there are bylaws. So the room for discretion becomes very limited. And with the introduction of integrated development planning in Swaziland, in Eswatini, it means you must be a contributor to it. Part of our stakeholder engagement says, when we develop the IDP, you must be there, you must contribute. Because if you don't, and further down the year, there are things that you want to see happening, it really becomes a difficult process. Okay? So I hope we do appreciate what the IDP is all about. In terms of my outline, we'll look at those various departments which are the ones which are standing in terms of how the office is set up: admin, corporate services, public health and environmental management, public works and engineering, social services, and town planning. So I think I've already spoken to the right part of the slide. The function of the administration is to provide strategic guidance. It's also to ensure that we implement council resolutions and then coordinate. It has a coordination and operational responsibility. I've said the guiding document for all that we do is the integrated development plan. The current plan is due for renewal next year, so I do hope that you will contribute towards that. 2019 to 2024, which is the period for the IDP that we have, listed, I think it's what? It's 13 objectives. Strategic objectives: provide recreational activities, ensure the Internet of Things, and develop efficient transportation system, inclusive infrastructure, high development, provide a safe environment, ensure that you are prepared for disaster, improve staff performance, improve also stakeholder engagement. As the MC or a program director indicated, this is part of our critical, it's supposed to be indicating the organogram for corporate services department. Now, this is basically the department that is responsible for human resource management, information technology. So, in terms of its structuring, there is a head of department who is the corporate services manager. Then you also have a human resources officer, information technology officer, front desk officer. Okay, I'm losing this badly. But as it stands, we do not have a corporate services manager, which we need to sort out shortly, but it is run by the corporate services officer, which is why you see, at least that's the one thing that is visible. You have officer on the side because she's the one who's responsible for running that particular department. Okay, sorry about that slide. In terms of our makeup, staff complement, we've done it by gender. For this year, the bulk of which are in the engineering and public health department. Basically, this is our general workers. That is where we've got the bulk of our numbers in terms of our staff complement. And then we've got 17 females. And then we have a total staff complement of 51. This basically says that we've got 67% males within the office, 33% who are females. But critical to this is that at executive management level, we've got 33% males, meaning that the balance, which is 67%, is where is because we all talk about empowerment of the female gender to ensure that not only are they part of what gets to be done, but they are also part of the critical decision making. So corporate services, for the year, they had to look at objective 4, 9, and 10, which is Internet of Things, staff performance, stakeholder engagement. So what have they done? There were 2 positions that were vacant, which is that of the CEO and the town planner. Those have been filled, hence 2 employees exited and 2 filled. And then they've conducted training. They've engaged interns because we must also be seen to be developing young people who will take over the future of the nation and obviously of the municipality. They had 13 reviews of policies, and then we have 5 information sharing platforms which would like that you continuously interact and engage with us on those platforms. We also use them for posting information pertaining to things that are happening and matters that would be of importance to you. So what do they do? Under public health. So what do they do? Under public health, food safety, public health and sanitation, they look out for communicable diseases and outbreak control, occupational health and safety. They are responsible for that. From the environmental management side, waste management, nuisance abatement, disaster management and invasive species eradication, environmental, in terms of those establishments that are at A level. Now, it will be, if you do have questions around this, they will be able to respond. For instance, what does A grade mean? What does U mean? What does B and C mean? Does it mean you shouldn't be patronizing those? Should there be questions around that? And then, in terms of waste management, as a municipality, we generated 2,206 tons of waste, and were disposed at the landfill. As we may know, we don't have a landfill within the municipality. So we've got to, once the waste has been collected, it has to be taken to Matapa, where we have an arrangement with them, but it's a paying arrangement which goes on to then absorb the fee, the waste that has been generated here. So in your operational costs, one of the huge budget items or one of the huge cost items is that movement between Ezulwini and Matapa. The balance between the 2206 and 2057 is what then becomes recycled. So it doesn't go there. And I really do want to commend this particular department because they are pushing the issue of recycling. For us, because Matapa charges us on the basis of the weight of waste that we are dumping in their space, the more recyclables that we are able to get or to do, the better it is for us, just in terms of our operational costs. So it shows a summary of waste collected, recyclable residential, and commercial waste. Commercial waste will also include waste that is generated for construction. Now our recyclables, this is indicating the recyclables from 2021 up to the financial year that we are reporting on. So it started at 7 tons, now we're sitting at 1, which is basically that 8% increase that we are seeing, and we need to continuously push and work on that. One of the things that we're looking at is to have a green city, but not just a green city, but a certified green city. So areas around waste management are very, very important. Things that are not good for green cities is vacant plots that are not managed. So if you've got a vacant plot, you are paying rates for it. What we would love to see is it being developed. But obviously purchasing a plot and developing a plot are two different mind games in terms of finances. But please then, if you have a vacant plot, keep it clean. All right? Keep it clean. Because if you don't, remember it will then harbor various elements that we don't want to engage with. Criminals get to use that. And also we have indecent things that happen where people get to hide and do other things that we may not talk about. So let's keep our vacant plots well kept. All right? Let's do that. Because if you don't, as I said, we are working in a highly legislated space. What happens if you are not taking care of your plot? But it will clean it up at a cost. It will get a court order to get it cleaned up. Before the court order, it will have engaged with you, because that's the due process. It will engage with you to say clean it up. But after a period of time, then you will get a public notice that you must clean. It will look whether you've done it within the time frame that you have been given. If you haven't responded, then it goes to legal. And legal may then process that you end up be issued with an order. And if nothing happens, then we will clean. And then it will be a charge onto your rates bill. So, and remember that charge now has got interest in terms of the fact that the legal officer charges us. So that already the disaster risk reduction plan has been developed. So what is happening now in this financial year is that there's ongoing implementation of that particular plan. There's also a move towards getting ISO certified. So this particular year, we're expecting that we will be certified. This is critical because it talks of quality management system, which means we need to improve how we do things. We need to be professional in the manner in which we do things. And this ISO system, the quality management system, we continuously get to be audited. Audited on what? Efficiency and effectiveness. Which means we can't sit and say, everyone is happy to be at Ezulwini. Ezulwini is one of the fastest growing towns in the kingdom. We continuously need to push the boundaries. And this system will help us towards that. Then there are also waste reduction initiatives that will be carried out. characterization of, there's a waste characterization survey. Basically, this helps towards our recycling program. And then obviously bylaws, which will help to improve how we do things, and also it's part of a ways of improving our revenue streams. So I'll then go to Public Works and Engineering. They are responsible for the maintenance of all council infrastructure within the urban area. So what you expect out of them is to clean stormwater drains, deal with damaged road, whether it's damaged road signs, rehabilitate walkways, pedestrian walkways in particular, maintenance of potholes, and regularly maintenance of street lights within the various residential areas. Allow me to say, one of the challenges we have, not only unique to us as Ezulwini, is that our municipalities have got what we call major roads, which are under the control of the Ministry of Public Works and Transport. So for instance, the MR103, which is really the core of our road network, that is under the control of the Ministry of Public Works and Transport. We are continuously engaging with them. But one of the things we'd like to see, and if you really say we want to move towards city status, that road should be lit every evening. It should just be clear. But it isn't, because that is a budget now which comes from another ministry. So if they are having financial challenges, our biggest challenge is that we can't jump in. We would love to, because we understand the importance of well-lit streets. We would love to, but it doesn't happen, because then it's outside of our mandate. So things like that may crop in, and maybe to look like there's a disjoint in terms of our service. The budget for that from the ministry, then we'll be able to ensure that that road, it's not only about the street lights, it's also about the full maintenance of the road. As things stand, lights that are lit along that particular road are actually paid for. That bill is actually paid for by the Ministry of Public Works. Okay. What have we done? 2022, 2023, upgrading of Lonyoni Road. See a picture of how it was, and 175 meters long. That project started in March 2022, and it ended in July. What else has the department done? It has had 28, it has received 28 residential building applications, which come, estimated value is 49,562,000. That's basically your property and other facilities like that. The new ones are valued at 33.2 or 33.3 million, and then those where there were additions, it's 2.2 million. 3 of them have been completed within the financial year that we are talking about. So this is a reflection of ESICOM, expected to be completed next year in January. FNB started in 2021, completed 2023. There are still minor things that they were working with so that we finalize their processes. Eswatini Water Services Corporation Head Office is expected to be completed in March 2024. From the maintenance side of things, Umtoni Township, a concrete road of a length of 100 meters was constructed, and there was installation of gabions. And then urban gravel roads, re-graveling and reshaping of gravel roads. urban roads, maintenance of street lights, roads, and road reserves. So when we talk of maintenance of roads, it's things like this that we're talking about. Kingfisher Drive at Umdoni. There was that damage on the road, and then during the course of the year, it was then maintained and construction, so you can see how it looks like after construction. I must also add that the engineering department is where the bulk of the money gets to be used, okay? Obviously because of the size and the nature of the projects. I was tempted to say something. I remember when I was being interviewed, there was a question of corruption. And we know that the engineering department, or engineering departments, construction works like this, are the bees, or the flowers to the bee, which attract corruption. So one of the things that we do, there's no payment the town treasurer makes without having gone on site to look if it's happening well. And we have our own ways also of checking if work is going in line with what has been said, outside of what the town engineer will do in terms of inspection. So we love him, but we always move in a mindset to say, do we trust him 100% or do we just put it at 80%? But so far, we are happy with what he does, but we are continuously keeping an eye. Because if we don't, then the issue of due diligence and the issue of monitoring and evaluation falls out. And once that happens, then we then have maggots that will start eating on your finances. So I've let it out, Mr. Shongwe. We are watching you. Bobalanga Crescent Road, there was a problem with the road. It was then worked on, and that is how it looks like after completion. I think this is one project which was completed just before the end of the financial year. And then at Mdoni, there are gabions which were installed. This is not only just to deal with the infrastructure, but it also ensures that we protect our environment, because then you'll start having gullies because of soil erosion. One of the things which engineering always likes to talk about is that by 2024, it's supposed to have ensured that there's asphalt finishing on our roads, which basically says tar. All our roads, 80% of our roads must be tarred. That is what was set out in the IDP. But already as we sit in 2023, end of 2023, they had moved beyond the target and they were at 84%. I think it's something that is commendable. So we've got 64 roads, 55 asphalt surfaced, and 9 roads that are gravel roads. It's not a very nice thing to talk about, but it is something that we really need to deal with. Some of those roads, how many? 3 or 4? 3 of those roads, there's contention in terms of ownership. Because when an area was developed, probably there wasn't a proper definition and gazetting of a right-of-way on those particular roads. So what we end up having is contestation between the road users and the owner with whom that road is actually sitting in his property. Some of these matters are historic, but we need to find solutions. And solution means engaging and talking with you, whoever you are as an owner. It's not an easy process. And those who are users, whether users because there's a business that runs along that, they really get frustrated. But we have not sat down, we've engaged, I think 3 particular areas we've been engaging. It's a long drawn out process. We can only ask for your patience, But one thing we assure you is that we are committed to ensuring that we come out with amicable solutions. Some of the solutions that have been thrown is that buy the road. Now, if we have to buy the road, we'll have to come back to you and get the leeway to do that. But in essence, when a township is developed, right-of-way needs to be properly gazetted so that the municipality can then take it over, maintain it. In the first instance, when you develop a township, that road should be well built. It should be tarred, so to speak. However, we've got historic townships where probably that part was never emphasized. And then it gives us with this problem. Mr. Shongwe said, seems like I like what I'm doing. We don't sleep. We run around a lot. But some of the things can be avoided. Why am I saying this? I don't know who is sitting here who will develop a township. Once you get to that stage, please make sure that you assist the municipality by ensuring that those right-of-way servitude are properly gazetted so that it becomes easier for us to maintain and to work, and also for those who will be users, so that they may also have the freedom to use those roads. So it's a plea from our office that let's help each other in this way. Planned work, asphalt finished roads, Likuku Street is in progress. By March 2023, it was at 37%. Walkways pending, those are detailed within the comprehensive transport plan. It says we need to provide more walkways. Because if you do have pedestrian walkways, you are creating a safer environment for those who want to jog, for those who want to walk. Hopefully, over time, we'll also have cycling lanes. I think the discourse now within the international community is that we need to have what we call a compact city, or a 15-minute city, which basically talks to say any service that you want within a municipality, it should take you no more than 15 minutes to get to that place, which basically talks to less use of the motor vehicle, because we also understand the damage that it carries out in terms of the environment. Will we get there? Definitely at some point, and we are pushing for that. The other objective that they are looking at as a department is strategic objective number 8, safe environment. Some of these objectives, they cut across departments. So our engineering department, public works and engineering department, they are responsible for the security of the town. Last year, they started on a pilot project to provide armed response to ensure that we are safer. I must say that at this point, that pilot looks to be a good thing to continue. So a contract has been signed this year, and they are providing that service. What I will ask from you, each one of you, please take down that number. I pray to God you never have to use it. But if you do have to use it, please take down that number, because if there's something happening within your space, you can call those people so that they can come and assist you, rescue you if need be. Okay. They work together with our reps from the Lobamba police station, but we really need to ensure that we create a safe environment. Thank you. I'll move on to social services department. Here I will primarily be listing the activities that have been carried out, but those figures basically show what they have done. They've distributed over 90,000 condoms and lubricants. 15,000 lubricant sachets were distributed. We are also working with 4 social centers. Now, these 4 social centers are located in the peri-urban area of the municipality. one of the things which councillors, both interim council and full council, has said to us, strongly so, you are supporting the peri-urban area. What are you doing when it comes to the mandate of this particular department? Sorry, I just want to beam here. If you look, we have to implement health and social campaigns. So this would be things like home-based care, even the provision of those condoms. Where are we hurting? Where are we bleeding as a community? Which are the homesteads that we need to be providing support to? And one of the challenges as a municipality is that either we are looking at the wrong places, but we are not getting a clear indicator which homesteads need to be supported from a home-based perspective. Which families need support? Who are the people that we need to be reaching out to? I'll give you an example. We come in, we provide checks, diabetes, blood pressure, those kind of things. But what we are seeing is a very low turnout amongst the residents. Similarly, there's no information in terms of who needs support. So my plea here will be, please come to the office, let us know. My family is in need of home-based care support. We work together with the Minister of Public Health, of Health, so there is support which is available. But as long as we can't identify those who have a need internally, we will always feel that we are not doing 100%. Remember, it's ratepayers' money. So we should also provide that service to yourselves, okay? But that's the work which this division does, provision of of HIV prevention and impact mitigation services, home-based care, child protection. We don't know the status of who is frustrated and stressed within our own environment. Coordination of youth peer educator program. Bring your young people, bring your children. Let's help to train them around the things of peer education. Okay, so that they can help their own friends within the community. So under health and social programs, what has been done? There was an event on COVID-19 vaccination. There was a campaign, World AIDS Day, Eswatini Breast and Cervical Cancer Walk. Love heals, it does not hurt. This is a campaign which was undertaken on the 14th of February, Valentine's Day, where we are saying if we are speaking about being in loving relationships as a people, then we need to understand that love heals, it does not hurt. Gender Links Annual Summit, that photo is a photo which was taken during the summit. And then we've also spoken about peer adolescent. So they've provided, peer education. So they've provided a training within sexual reproduction. The other things that have happened, this is internally focused. SIGA Games, these are games by all local municipalities within the kingdom where they come together. It's just part of team building and giving us a platform to share ideas as municipalities within the country. There was also the Sibebe Survivor 2022 challenge. Blood donation drive, very, very important. When we do announce these, which happen every 4 months, I think the next one is probably this coming month, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it last month? It was in August. So the next month, the next drive will be 4 months from now. Please come in and donate. The worst thing that can happen to you is be in hospital and not be able to get blood, and yet you need it the most. On this one, I could talk for days. But allow me to just say, please be a contributor. You may be saving someone's life. Never know. And then community services, we've already indicated what we do there. The picture that you are seeing is of a graduation for students or learners within the social centers. So that was their graduation ceremony. We also hosted a Christmas party with funding also provided by Huawei Technologies, and they opened up their venue also to these young ones at the time of Christmas. What are the projects they are looking forward to? Improve health and social services in Ezulwini. This is what I'm talking about. We need to participate. Increase youth participation, improve volunteers' morale. The work that we do, even in the social centers, it is work that is supported by volunteers. So we work together with them so that they can provide whatever assistance in the social centers. What are the activities that are carried out? Menstrual health campaign, gender-based violence, that is always set out for February 14, International Women's Day. March the 8th, this is where the mayor will come out, encourage women to come in. That is why when I spoke of the 67% leadership of our EXCO, it's because it's these drives that put us in that particular position. Ezulwini Health Fair. Health Fair, as I said, it's all around about testing, checking that are you in the right health status as you need to be. Okay. And then the last department, Town Planning Department, which was run by Ms. Lamini Zwagele. It's responsible for regulating land use, management of parks and public open spaces, promoting local economic development, and managing outdoor advertising. That's a bulk of the work that they do. They will be coming knocking at your doors, especially where your properties are encroaching onto someone else's property. They will be showing you, or at least engaging with you to say, get a land surveyor, mark out your beacons properly so that we don't have conflicts with your neighbors. What I've beamed there is a zoning map, which is part of the components of a town planning scheme. I think and I hope that we are familiar of what a town planning scheme is about, but in essence, it is a document which tells you your rights with respect to the land that you own or you have bought. So it will tell you that the land you are buying is a residential. It is high density, which means you can be able to put up multiple units. Or it will tell you that it's a residential one, low density, which means it's probably a single house unit with a cottage. So it defines the various kinds of developments that can happen across the town. What you see in yellow and shades of yellow, it's primarily residential properties. Green basically talks to areas of conservation, areas of public open space, like for instance, the bulk of what you see in a lighter green would be where you have ICC, where you have Royal Swazi Spa with the golf course and all of that. Okay. Where we are sitting, if I'm correct, it's a dark purple almost towards the end, which is the area for Happy Valley and the Gables across the road. Okay. Our town planning scheme has come to the end of its term. We've already put in an application for the development of a new town planning scheme. Again, I ask, participate, because it's a public participatory process that has to be engaged. You've got to contribute and talk to what you're expecting to see in terms of how we zone the municipality. I don't know if I'm allowed, but I know that our former DUG is working a lot within the space of town planning scheme. So she can talk and she can give guidance of why it's important to get it in. And by so saying, I'm saying to our town planner, make sure that in those engagements that DUG is a part and parcel of it, because she carries a wealth of knowledge that will help us to look at new trends within how a town should be developing. And then land use application analysis. So what has happened within 2023? I've received 4 special consent application, 4 for home offices. You will realize that 2021, we had 6 applications, because that's the time when most businesses were now looking at being home-based because of restrictions in movement. So it's tapped down now because we moved out of that space. We've had 2 applications for rezoning, 2 subdivisions. We haven't had, over the past 3 years, any applications for human settlement development. And then last year we had an application for a PUD. PUD, what's a PUD? Planned Unit Development, which means a development which brings a certain mix in terms of what goes on there from commercial to residential. So we've received that application, and then only 1 variation. According to what the department has said, 22% application decline. I mean, there was a decline in applications received by 22%, and primarily it's because we have subdivision and home office applications. So there was a decline in those spaces. In subdivisions, there was also a decline in home utilization for offices, which could be accounted to for what I said earlier within the COVID period. This department is also responsible for local economic development, as I said, which means trying to ensure that the economy stays within the confines that it has to, within the urban space. There is a concept which is called the leaking basket concept. I think it's important for me to I just want to take a break from the slides, there are too many. So the leaky basket concept says, or it asks the question, for that which you want or which you need as a resident, where do you go to? If you need fuel, do you get the fuel, do you get your car pumped up within the municipality, or do you go out of the municipality? If you do it within the municipality, it means your finances and your funds operate within the municipality, which means economic growth is most likely to happen. If you want to get vegetables, fresh vegetables, where do you go? Do you go to Mahlanya, or are you able to use the markets that are provided within Ezulwini? If you go out, it means your economy, your money is spent outside. Remember, not only that, but also your cost for traveling to go there is a cost that you will incur. So if that service is provided internally, then your funds are kept well. But the more you go out to spend your money outside, then you are like a person who is carrying a leaking basket. So as a municipality, one of the things that we will strive for is to ensure that the monies that we generate, the monies that we have, get to be spent here. Because the more that we spend internally, the better the economy of this particular municipality. One of the things which you may have seen is that the IDP says that we need to provide more civic services. Okay? So the thinking is around things like, okay, it will never happen to me. But if you are pregnant and you go to the EPH and that baby is delivered, where do you go to get your birth certificate? Are you going to go up the hill? Because if you do, you're already spending money. Are you going to go down to Manzini? What can we do as a municipality to make it easier for you as residents to get access to civic services. That's the thinking which we have. That's the thinking which council has said, these are the things that we need to consider. So we'll be interacting with various ministries who provide these civic services so that, remember, compact city, remember 15-minute city, so that you can actually walk, as Councillor Hlophe, as the Vice Chairperson, you walk up to the civic center of this municipality and apply for your travel document. Okay, your passport, because the councillor should be, I won't say it, but that's the thinking. That's really the thinking. So we need to look at things in that manner. Local economic development is talking to those kind of things. So the LED strategy has already been formulated. What is happening now is that it is rolling out. Youth empowerment, that is already rolling out. And then strategy 2.1 under 2 is to reduce unemployment among youth. So there are entrepreneurship development initiatives. This slide talks to one of them, where we had put in funds for assisting the youth towards initiatives around unemployment, or to break the cycle of unemployment. And when that was happening, the UNDP then called us, they gave us a call, they say, look, there's this program that we are doing. We are training entrepreneurs amongst the youth, can we join in? So we had 90, there was an opening for 90, but I think over 400 people applied when this was announced. So at that point we were signing the memorandum of understanding with the UNDP. The training has already been completed, but in terms of our reporting for the financial year is that program started within 2022, 2023. So the funds for that then went into this program together with the funding from UNDP. Out of that, 90 artisans were trained. There was only one dropout, which I think is unfortunate, but at least the ratio in terms of return on investment was very good. And then the other project that we also have, Unemployment Reduction Initiative. There's a group of ladies, Kwatela and Siga Ezulwini Multipurpose Cooperative. They are producing liquid fertilizer, and they are also producing compost. This is basically coming out from food waste. So they are producing, what you see there, that's the liquid fertilizer. They are stationed at the handicraft market. There are bags and bags of compost that is there, which you can actually use for your lawn and support this particular initiative. It's an activity that is going on very well. And the food waste is coming from our local hotels. And then promoting local businesses, 13 flea markets were done on Saturdays opposite the Crescent Shopping Center. And this obviously is helping the informal sector to come in and join in and be able to get something to make a living. 75 vendors participated in that particular market. And then the municipality has also supported a group of youth. So part of our brush cutting, especially within our office spaces, undertaken by this particular group. By the end of the year, they had completed 30,094 square meters of brush cutting. So this is an initiative towards dealing with unemployment. Tourism initiative, the pictures of happy people. There was a hike that was carried out. When we were talking within the office, one of the things we said was that there was a low turnout of residents, but we still have residents who came in. And we want to have this as an annual event. I think we are living in an era where we really need to take care of our bodies because a lot is happening. So when the call rises out for joining this hike, please participate. I'm sure they will map out a route that will help all of us to join in. And then one of the strategic objectives that was stated was that the municipality must own developable land. So during the course of the financial year, 2 properties were added adjacent to each other. So, okay, I was trying to check if I've got a beamer, but I don't have. But the top property, that is the one on the top left, that's what you know as the municipal space, the municipal offices. So the one in the middle is a new acquisition, and the one bottom right as you are seated. The intention then is to have that whole space developed, put up new civic offices, and then be able to deal with the things that we spoke of earlier on, to say, can we provide civic services? How do we improve the work and the efficiencies of the municipality? So it's an ongoing project. But what had happened was that this has been budgeted for over a period of time, but the implementation was actually carried out last financial year, which is also reflected in our financials. And then moving towards the end, a comprehensive transport plan has been developed. It's in the final phases. We just need to have it presented to council so that they may approve it. What it does is to talk to how we move around the municipal space. So for instance, if there's a major roadblock on the MR 103, how do we move out of the town? So it talks to those kind of ideas. It's long-term in terms of delivery on the strategies that have been put up, but we need to start thinking of it now. Probably we are even late because as users, you know the frustration that you end up in as you move around the ESICOM, EPH area, because their traffic really gets to be congested. By the same token, even when you are at Corner Plaza, traffic gets to be congested there. So it's saying what are the alternative routes that can be developed with time so that we are able to move freely. It also talks to thinking around what I mentioned earlier, your cycling, your pedestrian areas moving around, because obviously a healthy body is the one that exercises and is able to move. So what did they do? They looked at travel patterns, speed surveys, they looked at the road hierarchy, public transport infrastructure and services. So amongst the things that it is talking to is that to what degree does Ezulwini have a properly managed public transportation rank, a bus rank or a taxi rank? I had a meeting with one stakeholder last week, and the question was around, do we really want a taxi rank in the municipality? So if you've got 2 cars plus 1 SUV, you may not feel the need. But if you've got someone who works for you, he or she definitely needs public transport. So where do they stop off? Where do they come from? How do we ensure that they access the municipality? So there's a need for a taxi rank. If you look across various parts of the world, there are taxi ranks which are non-prohibitive to the eye. And we've got to think of taxi ranks beyond the bad things that we have seen and develop something that matches who we are as a municipality. So they've identified 2 areas, and we will look at how this can move on. But I'm saying this mindful of the fact that it still has to go to our council for approval. But I'm just saying There are those kind of things that come out from this comprehensive transport plan. Okay. So it looked at the limitations, it looked at where people in Ezulwini are working, and it also looked at the people that actually work in Ezulwini, where are they coming from, so that we understand the dynamics around movement within the municipality. What are the projects that they are looking at for this current financial year? High development by 2024. I've already spoken to the review of the town planning scheme. Mapping of all servitudes, that talks to the roads and the challenges we have there. Implementation, continued implementation of youth empowerment, approval and completion of the comprehensive transport plan, asset monetization, that is to diversify our revenue, look at the advertisements that, which basically talks to those along the road, street advertising, that is the things that they are doing. Also, to ensure that we develop usable recreational public open spaces. This has already started, and I think there are very nice and exciting things around how we look at using our open spaces. Now, before I get to the end of, to the last slide, please allow me to introduce to you the management office that has been responsible for delivering on this report. We have our public health and environment manager, Ms. Xolile Mapanga. Please can you stand and remain standing? We've got our town planner, Sihlem Kajwa Dlamini. We've got our treasurer, Ms. Tombizodwa Vilagati. We've got our corporate services officer, Ms. Patience Vilagati. We've got our town engineer. You've seen a lot of him. Please don't get tired. Okay. And seated around the table are the people that support this team, which we hope that this year they will do even more. And I'm particularly grateful to them because of the support and the thinking that we undertake. So thank you very much. I have come to the end of my presentation. I'll hand over. Please do allow me also, before I sit down, in my other life, I used to play football. I want to recognize the former president of the Eswatini Football Association, Mr. Pomba Mtetwa. Siyabonga baba ukuthi ube khona. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Town Clerk CEO, for the articulate report. You can see the municipality was busy in the previous financial year, implementing projects, programs, dealing with the community. So you can see we have been very busy with the council. Please note that the reports of the presentations have been uploaded on our website. You'll find the annual report and also the financial statements. The website is www.ezulwini.co.za. So you will get this information on our website. So at this moment, may I give this opportunity for comments, reactions, and I would like also to get some for you to commend the municipality for work that we've been done well. So at this moment, I'll give out for reactions and comments by a show of hands. Please, or you've introduced yourselves before, okay.
My concern is about waste from the peri-urban area. I've seen many a time people coming from outside the municipality and dumping waste in the town. Is there no way we can engage or maybe the Tinkundla to try and find a way where the locations outside the town can find a place where they can dump their waste? Maybe have a scale or something where they pay a few cents to do something about the waste. Because lots of times I'll put a black bag outside, next minute you find about 20 bags sitting next to it. And you see the cars, they come around and they just empty their boots wherever. I think this is something that really needs to look at. And the other thing we have is an influx of cockroaches. Ever since this sewer line has been put up, there's been an increase in cockroaches. Something needs to be done. And we're not talking about tiny cockroaches, we're talking about skateboards. So that's something that I think needs to be looked at before it just gets out of hand. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. At this moment, I would like comments and reactions, and then we are going to get to the Q&A session after our breakfast. However, the management is noting down your comments and questions, and I will then give the opportunity for the management to respond to those. But then for now, it's just comments and reactions to the report.
I don't know if this falls under comment or reaction, but thank you for the presentation. It was very insightful. I think the one thing that is a highlight for me is my name is Tsipo Zindela. I live on 22 Kunene Road. I'm a resident. So the one thing for me is the intention to build a rank. So the development is always, aspirational at first, but it always has an impact on us as residents. So just a comment on that to say more engagement with us as residents and the impact that these developments have on us would be appreciated. And I'm speaking as someone who has had to endure a lot of the byproducts, negative consequences of developments such as your shopping centers, etc., etc. There's benefit to it, but there's also offshoots that affect us. Yes.
Thank you, sir. May I take one last one?
Good morning. My name is Faith Pakam. I'm a resident in Ezulwini. Thank you very much for the great presentation. I would like to further make a comment on the undeveloped stands and the way they are handled. The people that own them, when it's time to clear them, just come and chop everything down and leave it lying there. There's no clearing of the stand. So when there's regrowth, it grows on top of that, and it becomes higher and higher, and before you know, it's a great bush with great big trees. And this really, really is a problem to us that live around these undeveloped areas. So if somehow the municipality could ask them to at least have a level at which the ground is kept once they've cleared, so they need to actually remove the debris once they've cut down the trees, that would really, really assist us greatly.
Thank you. May I take one last one from Mr. Hoss?
First of all, thank you very much for an outstanding presentation. I think we as residents, we are all very happy and proud to belong to a town which is well organized and well kept, and with all the social happenings during the year. I think, thank you very much. I have two concerns. Under objective number 9, disaster awareness, I missed the word fire. I had the reason on Sunday to call the fire brigade. One of our bamboos caught fire under mysterious circumstances. And it was next to the main building. And I called the fire brigade. They came about 45 minutes later. 2 people and 1 driver. And I said to them, what are you doing about that fire? Yeah, we got only the big truck. The small truck is out of order. I said to them, all right, you cannot come in with a big truck, but don't you have any pumps? Yeah, they are out of order. I said, do you have a submersible pump we can put in the swimming pool? We have 280,000 liters of water there. They're not functioning at the moment. I said, don't you have a second one? No. In other words, they were just standing there and watching us killing the fire. Luckily, I had enough people around the poolside, and they were very helpful, and we had enough buckets, and we have some hose pipes. Anyway, we managed to kill the fire. But the fire brigade is in an appalling state, in a substandard state, and I would like to ask the town council to look into that, because we have a lot of big buildings at Ezulwini. We have hotels. Luckily, nothing seriously is happening or has happened in the past couple of years. If something happens, the fire brigade just stands there and is doing nothing. My second concern, our presenter, which was outstanding, I must repeat that again. One of the main subjects, in my opinion, was tourism. That was the smallest presentation of his presentation. It was only 1 minute. The word tourism has been mentioned. Ezulwini used to be a tourist destination, not only from South Africans, but also from outside Africa. Not anymore. Now, what we have seen in the last hour was very impressive, but you tell me one installation which has been put up in the last 10 years here at Ezulwini, which is tourist orientated. Not one. We have shopping centers, we have the tax department, we have F&B, and so on. You know it yourself. We have a blockyard here. Name me one installation which is tourist orientated. Put yourself in the shoes. You live in Pretoria or in Johannesburg. Give me one reason to come to Ezulwini. Just one. There isn't any. So my question is, why have we not been told a couple of years ago, living here, I'm here for 46 years, I'm involved in tourism for 46 years, why have we not been told that tourism is not on the agenda anymore of our town council's program? This is one question. And then the last one, a very small one. Why do we need so many speed humps? We could actually enter in the Guinness Book of Records for speed humps. Between the Corner Plaza and Lobamba, we have 12 speed humps. My question is why? For who? I worked it out for myself. If I travel from the Cattle Puddle to the Gables once or twice a day, I need in 1 year 1 tank full of petrol. That's about 2,000 Emelanginis. Not to talk about the wear and tear of the car with shock absorbers and so on. Why do we need so many speed humps? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hoss. I'll start with the last one, the speed humps. One problem with with in new infrastructure, when you put it in public, you'd find that some people would want that infrastructure, and some people would not want that particular infrastructure. Yes, the MR103 road has many speed humps, but then that is due to the behavior of our motorists. I would say in Eswatini, I'm sorry to say that, because yes, I know some of you do abide by the traffic rules along the roads. So when engineers design roads, one of the most important thing is safety. Safety to motorists, pedestrians, and other road users. It can be animals and so forth. So with the speed humps that you see mostly along the MR103, it is to increase on the safety part. But then if we were low abiding citizens, we were going to traverse along the MR103 within the desired or the design speeds, which is 60 kilometers per hour along the MR103. But then if you can notice, motorists, when traversing along the MR103, moving from FNP obliquely, coming this direction to the Happy Valley, people would be revving their AMGs and Mercedes-Benz at 120 kilometers per hour. And I'm sure you are talking about the new speed hump that we've just installed, just before you get to Ezulwini Private Hospital entrance. They are having a big challenge with the junction, Ngonini Junction. We've been getting numerous complaints, concerns from residents and motorists using that Ngonini road going down, where they were complaining about the near misses from accidents along that section. So for us as a municipality, we then reacted by installing a speed hump. So at least we don't want to have fatalities within Ezulwini along this section. However, I must mention that as a municipality, we have been engaging with stakeholders along the MR103 road, whereby we have to join in, especially resources-wise, that is finances, to come and develop the section along the town of Ezulwini. Moreover, we've developed a comprehensive transport plan, which has informed us that MR103, the hierarchy of the road, should be improved, meaning that the road should be improved to a dual carriageway, such that on both directions we have 2 lanes to accommodate the traffic that we are experiencing with the current development in Ezulwini. So we have been engaging, and I've received estimates, especially for the section of Ezulwini Private Hospital, amounting to 18 million, just to improve the accessibility along the section from total filling station garage up until you get to, just before you get to near the entrance of Mlalatini institution. So you can imagine you need 18 million for just this small section for a safe access to nearing properties around there. But then with the comprehensive transport plan, I think we need something about 189 million just to improve the road from water services, Lusushwana Road, Lusushwana River, up until you get to the junction or Mvuchini, just beyond Sibani Hotel. So you can imagine the amount of money we need just to improve accessibility and also safety of motorists along the section, 189 million. I'm still going to engage with other stakeholders, which is our parent ministry and also the public works, to at least join resources in implementing this report that we've received from our consultant. So we are doing work in the office just to improve the transport network, or rather roads, within the municipality. But then I would give, there were 5 comments which I received, and I would like the management to receive, to respond to those, which is the waste management, which was from one of our residents there. And also I'd like to combine that one with the overgrowns issue, and also the influx of cockroaches. I think the public health will handle that one as well. And then also, Yes, thank you, Mr. Host, for commending us for on that part. They well kept and organized town. Thank you so much for that. We are really working hard to deliver our services. I will then ask my colleagues to respond to this concerns.
Morning to everyone. Good morning, councillors and residents. The CEO has already introduced me. Xolile Mapanga, working for the Public Health and Environment Department. Quite a lot of questions. I will answer them. The first question is on the community, engagement of the community in terms of waste management. I think this one, CEO, the department deserves a raise because we're already five steps ahead. Thank you for the comment, Mr. Stewart. We already, this month, we have a council paper that is already talking to waste management strategies, but please allow me to share some of the things that are in the paper, if you can. Council Chairperson. I'll just speak only to the community engagement. So we currently have engaged with the community, and we are currently engaging with the community. We had 2 meetings, one from Ezulwini Municipality, engaging with the leadership on what best can we do with regards to waste management. We also have another community, Ebuga, who have voluntarily come to the council to say, please help us. Our rivers are full of diapers and we are drinking unpotable water. So we are engaging with them to say that let us try and take the issue of waste collection service closer to your area, closer to the point at which it is generated. Instead of them illegally dumping their waste along MR103 on the litter bins, and along the skips, which we have since removed. So what we are doing, we are catching the waste before it enters town. Yes, we do acknowledge that as a town, we are surrounded by the peri-urban community. They are equally frustrated. There are no structures on waste management. Nothing is there for them to dispose waste appropriately. So we are engaging with them to say, let us bring the service closer to you. But of course, we must engage with our ministry because there's an issue of jurisdiction. Remember, the council is mandated to work within the urban space. So if you're now taking the service outside of your urban space, you need to now engage thoroughly with the ministry, our ministry, and with the ministry of Tinkundla, where they report. But we are engaging with them. Ebuga is interested in doing a buyback center, so that they can at least get some bit of livelihood. We had gone quite extensively in terms of engagement. They had allocated a space. We're ready to fence off that area, but then we experienced some glitches, which I will not be able to share with you. But I'm just trying to say that there is movement in that space. And once we get that one correctly, to take the service closer to them, we will see a decline in the illegally dumped waste along the MR103. So thank you for that one. It will get better, but before it gets better, it will look muddy. So please do bear with us on that one. And then the issue on undeveloped plots, I think for the first time in a very long time, we've made quite a significant improvement on this one. We have since fully enacted, taken the route of the Public Health Act, Section 12 and 13, which now forces all property owners with vacant plot to now remove their nuisances, because an overgrown plot is described as a nuisance. So we have taken the legal route and we've seen a lot of movement. I've been here for 4 years and there are properties that were never cleared. But for the first time in a long time, they're being cleared. So we are making progress with regards to that. And I'm happy that when we submit through the process that the CEO explained, we're able to submit the list of property owners to the legal advisor, and they are published, name and shamed, on the local papers. We might just need protection there, CEO, because they call. I'm a CEO of a company, why are you publishing my name? I work for a reputable financial institution, why are you publishing my name? But when you own a property, it's your responsibility to come and check on that property and make sure that it's cleared. Some are getting concerns such as, they're using my property to dump the waste, so I'm not going to come and clear it. But if you do not clear your property, it's encouraging people to dump the waste onto your vacant plot. So that one, there's movement. I do acknowledge that even though they do clear, they do not rake the grass or the trees. So I do take note of that one. It's an improvement that we need to do, not only clear, but also make sure that you do rake those garden waste that is produced. There was one on disaster management, Sengihlala phasi MC. On the fire. Fire has been described as a hazard in our disaster risk management plan that we need to make a contingency plan as a town, and we do have a contingency plan for that one. What happens is that before you can even openly ban any property, you must get a permit from the Ministry of Agriculture. The Ministry of Agriculture will give you guidance on how much of land are you supposed to ban openly. So there are properties that we know that submit to us to say that I've been granted a permit by the Ministry of Agriculture to openly ban the property. So what then happens is we encourage the property owner to inform neighboring properties and also inform the Department of Fire Services, so that in the event where the fire now starts causing destruction to neighboring properties, the fire services is aware and they're on standby to do that. One of the other things that we are required to do under the disaster risk management plan is for us to have memorandum of understanding with the service providers that have to do with emergency or utilities. So with that one, it will address the issue of turnaround time. How much time are you supposed to come when you have been called? And then what we also are observing is the issue of mentally disturbed persons that we have in the town, who maybe open fires because it's cold, it's at night, and then we end up having open fires as a result. And then there's also, we do request that for all commercial establishments, when we go visit them to do inspections, there are a lot of gaps in terms of firefighting equipment, and that's a requirement by the law. We would like to encourage everyone that's owning a commercial establishment to make sure that they do have the appropriate firefighting equipment, so that in the event the fire is coming closer to you, you are able to at least assist whilst the Department of Fire Services is responding. So that one, I hope I've answered all of them. I would request through you to also give the Department of Fire Services on this one, so that they can also respond on their measures and how they respond when they've been called on this one.
Thank you, Director, and all colleagues observed. On the question raised by my colleague over there, the concern about us responding to incidents, I must start by saying if that happened, we are so sorry that we responded late, but most of the times we are so prompt in responding to incident, whatever kind, whatever time, be it raining, sunny, or windy, the fire department responds so promptly to all accidents. But if I recall very well, that one mentioned by my colleague over there, they were from another fire. So they were refilling a tank at the station when they were called to attend it. That 30 minutes or so, I should think they were not yet done to respond quickly, because we have only one appliance presently at Luamba Fire Station. So the issue of smaller pumps, we don't have. They are all broken, not at Lobamba, but nationwide. We only have 3 now running out of about 10. So maintenance issue, it's a big crisis. Not Lobamba Fire Station, but that one of taking that much long to respond to, so it's not a distance that would take at least 10 minutes to come here from Lobamba Fire Station, but that 28 minutes is just too much. So if that one they told me about, they were filling up a tank, they were from another fire, so We are so sorry that we could not assist. The trucks, the problem, the challenges we have is that the entrances to the residences, the gates, they are bit smaller at times, so we don't go through easily. It becomes better in rural areas because we sometimes pull down the gate so that we go through. But with you guys here, you're so beautiful. This so we can't break it that easily. We are so sorry that we couldn't assist as we are supposed to. And the other areas have been covered so nicely by my colleague there. I thank you. I thank you, Program Director.
Thank you, Fire Department, for that response. Sorry for putting you on the spot. However, then you can see that the Fire Department is in need for support with finance and resources, especially for the equipment to better service the community of Ezulwini. So then we have to look into it and see if the council would be in a position to assist the Fire Department. We also had two other comments which were influx in cockroaches. However, that one you had mentioned that it's by another entity. So at this point in time, I would not be in a position to respond for another entity. However, with the sewer lines or spills that are happening within the town, the water services is being engaged and on a regular basis on spillages if ever they arise. And then the intention to of developments of infrastructure within Ezulwini, yes, we will take that comment and we'll improve on the sensitization of property owners near those construction areas. And then we had one last one, which was the tourist installation in Ezulwini. May I request the town clerk to respond to this one, and then from there, we're then going to have breakfast. May I request that we at least take at least 10 minutes to dish up and come back and have a working tea, and then we carry on with the Q&A session, because I can see the interest that's happening on the floor.
Thanks. Thanks for the question. The issue of tourism, I think it's unfortunate that we didn't talk much into it. I remember sitting in my interview with two of the councillors here, and we did speak about tourism and the need to revamp and revitalize tourism within this municipality. It has set as the tourism hub for Eswatini for the longest of time. The closure of our fine hotels, the Sun International Group, has really hit the country hard. But there's a lot going on in the background around that space. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to be able to talk to those things because of the liquidation process. But there is definitely development and engagement which is working and moving around the tourism space. So within the next 2-3 years, we will see change. What are we doing as an office? We have a memorandum of understanding with the Eswatini Tourism Authority. We are working on looking at strategies and things that we can do within the municipality to improve tourism. We are also working at engaging with entities like Eswatini National Trust Commission. They've got beautiful land just above the falls, where we are looking at how far can we look at having a zip line, having chalets that can open up that space and enjoy the environment within. So it may have been 1 minute, but trust me, it is something that we are really looking at, and things will move. Because we also understand that there are businesses which run and operate because of the spin-offs that come out from tourism. We have to raise that flag, and I believe that with the council that we have, we'll definitely move within that space. I had a private conversation with one of our councillors. We'll be having a meeting, just to say what are the ideas, because he works a lot with tourist groups. What are the ideas that we can build up so that we are able to improve that? It's not something that is under the carpet, it is something that we're definitely looking up at. The matter of cockroaches, Mr. Sean, our environmental health inspector will definitely engage with you on that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Town Clerk, for that response. In front of me, I've got the table of our councillors, and I can see it's a puzzle. There's one missing councillor. May I also introduce in absentia Councillor Refilwe Mamohobo, who resides in Ward 5. She's also part of the council. So in front of you, it's 7 councillors, and then 1 councillor in absentia. And then I would also, I can see faces from other entities here. May I acknowledge the presence of our valued stakeholders. I'll just mention them, which is APTC, the fire department, which has just responded to one of our concerns, the Gulp filling station, Total Garage, Remax, MA Properties, who are busy developing high residential areas in Ezulwini. We also have Kobe School. We also have MTN, who's also assisting us with other activities in Ezulwini. We also have PSPF with us here. We've got Yebo Art, representative from Yebo Art Gallery, and also a representative from Mananga College. And we also have representatives from the US Embassy, and we've been working with the US Embassy in terms of security issues, and they've been very helpful with us. And also we have Kodek, and also Kalipadli. You were talking about tourist installation, but at least we still have Kalipadli in Ezulwini. We also have Lidwala Insurance with us here. We've been having constant engagement with also Dwala Insurance on the part of improving a section of the Emaronati Road, just to speak to the access issue along the Emaronati Road. We also have the Galeria cables. We also have representatives from Kona Plaza, and also a representative from Mag & Bean. Should try out their coffee, it's very nice. And we also have Lubane Co-op. They've recently finished a project of their office. It's a very nice office of Lubane. You should go and see it. It's just next to Kona Plaza, right across the Makonza Market, just below Yokal filling station. We also have a representative from Plush. So thank you so much, esteemed stakeholders, for being part of this meeting. We really appreciate your presence into this meeting. A round of applause to yourselves. The reason I've mentioned these stakeholders is to benefit us on our discussions as we come back for the Q&A session, because some of the concerns that will arise will then link up, or maybe we'll get a response from those direct stakeholders within us. So I don't want to waste time at this moment. When we go out and have our breakfast, I'll just give you 10 minutes, and when we come back, we have the Q&A session, because I can see a lot of questions as I'm looking at you now. So can we have a breakfast, dish up, come back, and then have the Q&A sessions? Thank you. Breakfast is served. of preparing our budget for the next financial year. So for this session, I just want us to be quick and not waste time, just get straight to the point. And if maybe a similar question has been asked, I would humbly request that we just carry on with that one question which has the similar concern. So I'll have questions, concerns, contributions as well, and also commend the council wherever it has done well. So with this session, I intend not to take much time, so that at least by 11 o'clock we are done for the day. So by a show of hands, I'll request that you show your hand and then you give your submission. Please do introduce yourself.
Morning again. My name is Faith Packham. Mine is a concern. For the past month or so, the water has been chlorinated all day, every day in Ezulwini, especially in the Koche area where we live. I don't know how healthy this is. I was hoping that somebody from Water Services was here. Maybe the question could be directed to them. But maybe for now we could direct it to the health department and they could find out from us from Water Services as to when this will end and what is the problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have another question or comment?
Good day, everyone. All protocol observed. Nomsamamba from ECODEC. Just as a minor question, I would like to know if Ezulwini Municipality is thinking in terms of maybe creating a park for our kids to play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Darren Rowe, I'm a resident of Ward 6. I've got a list here of submissions made by Ward 6 members. Put it to them on our WhatsApp group and we got quite a lot of response. So things from our ward, these are things for the upcoming budget. There was a very strong request for speed bumps. So I know, as Horst has mentioned, for every person that doesn't want speed bumps, I must admit I'm one that doesn't particularly like them. But we had a very strong push there. It was an issue of safety, particularly along Execution Rock Road and Ebudlweni Street as well, residents there. And this is an open group. Most residents are on the group. There were not many people shouting it down, as sometimes does happen. But speed bumps were requested there because of a lack of discipline in the area. Second thing was pleas for the municipality to take a lead and assist with sorting out the issue of servitudes and right-of-ways so that roads can be developed. Mlanvo Street is one of them. There are others in the area as well. Third point, there was a lot of appreciation for the cleaning up the Greenbelt area. Some of the council-owned areas were the most overgrown and have been used as dumping grounds. So a big appreciation for the cleaning up of the Greenbelt area, particularly the one between Ward 6 and Ward 3. The point was then raised, please, now that it's nice and clean, please can there be running, cycling tracks put there, some flat areas where ball games can be played. I think it's very similar to the issue of a park for children. Please can there also be thought put on policies for usage? In other words, what's appropriate in the park? Is music going to be allowed or not allowed? How is access going to be controlled? Please can the municipality look at fencing some of these areas as well so that there is a mechanism of control and that it doesn't become a place where vagrants end up camping. The other point was, please, if a cattle grid could be installed at the Lobamba Bridge. Most residents are aware of the steps that the council has taken, engaging with cattle owners one by one in the peri-urban areas. 90% of the cattle owners appear to have abided by the request that cattle are not driven into Ezulwini, but the 10% that are not abiding by that are causing some problems. And please, a physical barrier there, like a cattle grid at Lobamba Bridge, would be appreciated. Security again, boom gates. There was an interest in boom gates, possibly just in the evenings, and security even on a cost-sharing basis with the municipality to manage the movement of people, particularly after hours. The establishment of a proper recycling drop, particularly Ward 6 Ward 6 is actually dropping off their recycling in Ward 3 area, that Tivagashi Street drop-off point, which is working at the moment. This needs to be formalized, or another area found that's very easy for recycling, for dropping off. Contraceptives, I think this was one of more of humor, but if there could be contraceptives for the baboon population. Ward 6 has a big baboon problem. I know we do have streets there called Mfeni and Gobiani and Cinque streets, but that seems to have been an invitation to the baboons to invade. Those were the main points that were raised. Just for myself, and I just mention this more as a councillor than as a resident, but we do have some difficulties, and we have regular debates at council about how far do we go in using ratepayers' money to solve problems outside of the municipality. And it's a contentious question. The thing I'd like to point out is that one of the SDGs, one of the United Nations SDGs, is SDG number 10, is reduce inequalities. And if you look, Ezulwini is one of those places that has got a very defined line. Inside the municipality, there's very well managed services that we've seen, and then immediately outside the municipality, there aren't. We do live in a society, if you follow Gini coefficients, very similar to South Africa, we've got some of the highest inequalities, and these inequalities cause a problem. In Finland is the country which consistently for the last 3 or 4 years has been the happiest populations, and they do a couple of different measures of happiness. And Finland is the happiest country in the world. Now, people have delved into that, and where does that happiness come from? Finland is also one of the least unequal countries. In other words, there's more equality across communities than most places in the world, and certainly that's one of the things that people point to. Where there's inequality, there's unhappiness. Our motto for Ezulwini is discover happiness. I do think that we need to take a lead, and we need to take it quite early in addressing issues in peri-urban areas. Most people will possibly have observed what happened in South Africa. In South Africa, they also had these brutal inequalities between previously white areas and then neighboring areas, largely areas that grew up with people coming and needing to be closer to employment. And this is what's happening exactly in Ezulwini at the moment. Most of the people that are in the peri-urban areas are here because it's close to their places of employment. As Ezulwini grows, that is going to grow. Now, what happened in South Africa is at a certain point in time, municipalities were enlarged to take in all these peri-urban areas. In most municipalities, it almost collapsed their services, because going from dealing with a small group of very privileged people to suddenly deal with a massive area, the backlog of things that hadn't been done was too great to deal with. So I do think it's something that we need to understand, that the sustainability of this municipality in the long term is very dependent on us making sure that the backlog is not too bad. It means we need to badger government to deal with development outside of our borders. It means we've got to actually take the initiative And waste is the simplest thing to deal with. If we look at what the cost is of picking up and moving a skip and getting it to the waste dump, yes, it costs money. It burns petrol, it's ratepayers' money. But at least there's a culture there of people disposing of their waste responsibly. That culture can be built on in more formal structures. Town planning, we should be advising, assisting them to keep corridors open so that utilities can be put in a future period. We do need to be proactive on that because, and the DUG very kindly pointed this out to me in a discussion I had with her. In the Constitution, this country's Constitution, 5 years after the promulgation of the Constitution, the Ministries of Urban Government and Tinkhundla were meant to be joined together as one. It hasn't happened yet. For sure, it is going to happen at some point in time. And at that point in time, Ezulwini and all these peri-urban areas may well become managed as one entity. We need to be proactive right now to make sure that the backlog of services is not an impossible backlog to deal with. Sorry for the long thing, but sometimes council themselves, they say to us as councillors, no, we can't do that because that's outside of our mandate. I do think as forward-thinking, intelligent residents of Ezulwini, if we understand where happiness, where sustainability comes from, we just need to be proactive in making sure that this process of dealing with Ezulwini Valley as a whole, not just Ezulwini Valley as title deed land, gets early attention, that we've got strategies in place on how to deal with that. Thank you, Program Director.
Can I have just one last one from Councillor Dr. Mazibuko and then request the management to respond to some of the concerns?
Siyabonga, Program Director. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The first one is just to appreciate the residents for one, appreciate the removal of the skip, Legamkhoza. I think it has made quite a big difference, though management, you'll recall, was a debate why the skip was removed, but I think now really everybody appreciates the place. It's very clean, and there's some security around there to ensure that people don't dump the rubbish on the road. So we really appreciate that activity. However, residents are concerned with the street lights from the gate Emugela to Mdoni. It's constantly dark now. The lights are not working. It's very scary at night. And also on the northern boundary of Mugela, you know, those houses on the northern part are also in darkness because the lights there are not working. So I'm sure that action will be taken to ensure that the residents in Ward 1 are safe from what might happen as a result of the darkness. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. There's quite a handful of comments and questions there. Councillor Rowe touched on the issue of social responsibility as to how far do we go to use the ratepayers' money outside the town, which is the peri-urban area. And sometimes we find ourselves as a municipality in a fix whereby you'd get the surrounding residents who are in the peri-urban area coming to the office to request assistance on some of the services provided within the municipality. So yes, we have to look into that and see how we then assist the public outside the bounds of the town. So there were questions which were asked. I would request management to respond to those. Yes, I do take the contributions, such as the ones where we could include a drop-off area for the recycling initiative. Yes, that one would, I would say it's a contribution to the budget. And also the suggestion of a Kekli grid, just to manage Kekli within the town But then the challenge with this one, as you can see, Ezulwini Municipality is mostly a residential area. The challenge that we have is that we don't have space to have a holding area for cattle within the town. Imagine next to your property where you stay, councillor, mayor, we then have a cattle stall to keep cattle while we wait for a truck to come and collect the cattle, which is becoming a nuisance within the town. So it's some of the challenges we have, but then we'd have to go out and work with the outside authorities. Is there any area they can then allocate to the municipality when we can then develop or have a holding area? But then it's going to be a bit tricky because we'll be holding their cattle, which is going to be coming off from their side. Then, you know, it's a quite a tricky situation on that regard, but then we'll see how we safely implement that one. And then there was the issue of right-of-ways, servitudes. I think the town planner will assist on that one, which together with the parks, there was a request on creating parks and developing on the green belt areas within Ezulwini. Yes, we note that we don't have much of recreational spaces in town. So I'd request the town planner to respond to that. The thing is, I know these things, so I'm then tempted to respond to them. But then I will also request my team to assist.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sitle Mkacha. I work under the town planning department at the municipality. May I kindly, I believe most of we're receiving comments and not questions. However, we are noting the comments from our stakeholders and our residents. We are looking to address the issue of the right-of-ways. There are many initiatives that we are looking at. The first one, for the next financial year, we are looking into mapping them out. We've noticed that there is a lot of right-of-ways within the urban area, many of which are unknown by property owners. That is our first project that we would like to do, following which we will then see how we can then find a way of having those removed and handed over to council in a phase format, depending on the types of right-of-ways that we're able to map out and the report that will come from that project. We've also noted the challenge that we have on active open spaces. That's what we call them in town planning. Excuse me, these are open spaces that children can come and play, families can come and enjoy. We are noting this one as well as a contribution towards the budgeting process. We are looking at also how can we have active open spaces incrementally, start with one, and see how we can budget for the others in the next coming years. So we are definitely looking at having active open spaces for our residents. This is inclusive of the green belt as well. We appreciate the comment from Councillor Rowe. Yes, thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Program Director. We also received comments. There was one comment on water being chlorinated in Gojo Township. I think until we can engage water services, because water needs to be tested to verify the physical parameters that are within it. I could look at it as being chlorinated, and yet it's just turbidity, which really doesn't harm. So we need to do a test, but that one has been noted. We will report the concerns to water services just to allay your fears on that one. There was one on installation of a cattle grid so that there's no access of cattle coming from Lobamba direction. I think we appreciate that input. We've also, on this one, we've also worked with the police, and they have said that they do have a truck where we can impound cattle. We need to drive them to the nearest pound area, which is either Mbabane or Manzini. So we do have a program planned on this one, on stray cattle for the town. We will also need to work with our security rangers in making sure that we drive the cattle onto the truck, which the police have agreed that they can do it as an exercise once a month and pound those cattle. The recycling drop-off, we will gladly do something on that one. We are looking at reducing the amount of volumes of waste. The CEO has alluded to the fact that we do not have a final disposal facility in the town. Therefore, one of our strategic objectives is that let's reduce the waste and increase recycling to up to 70%. So we all have a role to play on that one. We are looking at having communal recycling points in strategic areas. So that one is in the pipeline, and we will make sure that we budget for it. Contraceptives for monkeys? Wow. I was looking around for ENTC. I think this one is, there are a lot of concerns, honestly, that residents have come to the office, they walk through the office to say that I can't even plant a simple vegetable because the monkeys will just destroy everything. And in the light of food security, it is important that all of us as residents have urban gardens at least. If you see the prices of onions in the shops, it's amazing. So with this one, we are engaging the ENTC on measures on how to reduce the numbers of this endangered species. However, we are being told that we are occupying the natural biodiversity. So they tend to go back to their home, to a natural home, which is where we also reside. But we have asked that they should do something to protect, so that at least there's a balance between the two. We cannot be held at ransom because of the monkeys. Some areas are more problematic than others. So we have expressed that concern with ENTC, and we will continue engaging with them to see on how they can at least provide contraceptives for this endangered species. Thank you.
Thank you, PHEM, for that clarity and response. On the issue of boom gates, Councillor, we have been having engagements with the stakeholders, especially on the safety issue within Ward 6 and also other wards in town. So we were still in talks to see how viable it is for us to install boom gates within the residential streets. But then from the discussions we had, there were suggestions that we should get alternative solutions which would then also bring about the same output of having boom gates within residential areas. So for now, we're still in talks with these stakeholders. Mostly were being held by the U.S. Embassy, since they are assisting on the security discussions. And then with the street lights, Councillor Dr. Mazibugo, yes, we will attend to those street lights. But then the challenge with Mugela Township is that it was a developed township, which was then handed over to the municipality. So the wiring and installation of the existing system, it's a bit tricky, and it gives faults now and again. So these are some of challenges we face as a municipality of developed townships, which are then handed over to the municipality. You'd find that the contractors during those projects, they would just do shoddy jobs and then hand over to the municipality, and then we find ourselves taking care, or rather maintaining those infrastructure now and again. Another example is the issue of roads within townships, which are then handed over to the municipality. You'd find that the quality or the design of those roads, those are poor designs, and then they'd be then handed over to the municipality. Then you would those roads would then have a lifespan of about 4 years, And then after 4 years, you'd find that we then have to come back as a municipality and rehabilitate those roads, or rather do a complete rehabilitation of those roads. So the handing over of infrastructure, it's a challenge, but then we are working on it with the proposed developments which are coming to the town. May I also take other comments and contributions?
Yes, this is a question and maybe a suggestion for planning and engineering. As someone who's lived in a residential area for 18 years, the recent rezoning of that area in Ngunene side where the crescent is, I want to know what role does the municipality play in mitigating an issues of damage to property as a consequence of development nearby. I think in the previous administration, I had gazetted and submitted a petition from the residents of that area concerning the inconveniences to the road for residences and the noise as well. I think some effort was made in terms of silencing generators from the Pick and Pay crescent. However, there are other issues that were not addressed. And currently we have another development happening, and I usually see Ezulwini Municipality cars going to check the progress of that construction right next to our stand. I just want to know, because we have had discussions with the construction workers there, the managers, about reviewing, so reviewing to come and check and see what is the damage being done to our property, and then coming back to us to see months later if there's any further damage so that recompensation can be paid. And we are not seeing any active or willing participation on their end to the extent that we feel comfortable that they will take responsibility over it. So how does the municipality assist residents who are living in rezoning areas? Because it used to be residential and now it's like a combination of the two, and it's having impact on us materially.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Armstrong from Yabo Art Gallery. I'd just like to back up the question by Mr. Saylor about tourism. I want to know if there was any consultation between Ministry of Works and Ezulwini Town Council on the blocking of the turn at Codec and the market, because the market vendors are all suffering. Buses coming from this direction can't turn, and then they have a problem turning around the MTN circle. So I think if we want to support tourism and the market vendors, I think we should insist on that turning being opened again. What the secondary problem has been the congestion on the Mpumalanga Road coming up to Woodlands. So everyone from Shagambili and Ngonini and all the Ward 4 council townships are all using the one road out. Very few people are using the one up past Codec, and so I request a lot of pressure on the Ministry of Works to reopen, and whether it was legally closed in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. Dombilo, the mayor has a hand up.
Thank you very much. Mine is going to be more of comments and maybe highlighting on things that may have overlooked. I'm Mbongile Mbingo from Ward 3. What I want to emphasize to our stakeholders and residents is the use of your councillors that have been assigned to your wards. That makes life easy for you, and you get to know more by consultation with them. You know, instead of waiting for us to come to a meeting or even getting to the offices, you get to know more through your councillors. and also to urge our stakeholders and residents to be responsive to our calls when we are calling residential meetings, where we engage on localized issues per ward. You know, when you're talking about monkeys, maybe in Ward 3, then we have a common understanding and a common problem that we can all talk to, and then we appreciate the problems before we may be taking them to the office. And also the infrastructure and the lightings and everything. So I'm just urging everyone to please respond to the call of meetings so that we get your valuable contributions so as to improve the towns together. And then some of the contributions that you make may be easily discussed in our meetings so that we come up with a solution. And also, the awareness of security in Ezulwini. We want Ezulwini to be a very safe place. And we know that in recent days, we have had a number of attacks in terms of security. You know, people have been attacking our people. So it is a very critical issue. The security of Ezulwini people is very critical. So when we are calling people within the wards to say, let's come together and do neighborhood watches, please make yourselves available. We need those ideas. We need the participation of all of us so that we live in a safe space. So we still do urge everyone to identify their councillors so that when there is a call for neighborhood watches or any discussion within your communities, you are found there to be part of the conversations. And then there was also cable thefts. I know we've got EPTC here, and nobody has, has even mentioned that. We are a town that is developing very fast, and communication is very vital. So in the absence of communication, everybody gets frustrated. We have to be the keepers of the town, and we have to whistle blow where need be. And also those suggestions on how we can easily cap the theft within our towns, we are welcoming those ideas, you know, so that we can indeed make it a first world class. I mean, we've been bragging to say Ezulwini is the Sentin of Eswatini. We can only do that together. No one person can do it. The office cannot do it. They are totally dependent on us. So we're asking everybody to participate, bring those ideas, look out and say what you're seeing that is not good for the town. There's also a nuisance of traffic stopping along the MR103 because there are no proper bus stops. Now we want to develop policies to say, no one will just stop anyhow and anywhere. But before developing those policies and maybe fines, let us agree and find a place through the town planning scheme where we are going to have proper bus stops, proper taxi ranks, and proper, if there's taxi rank, there's bus rank, and then proper bus stops. So I'm just calling for the participation of all Ezulwini people so that we all become the ambassadors of the development because you have all contributed. Thank you for the contributions to the IDP. Now we are thanking you for the contributions to the budget. So don't miss out that opportunity to make things happen because of your presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor, for that submission. I will respond to the concern regarding the blocking of the access to Mpumalanga Crescent Road. With the issue of the access to Mpumalanga Crescent Road, just below the ICC Hotel, if I can just take you back, the MR103 road used to be a highway which connects Mbabane all the way to Manzini. So the hierarchy of that road, I would say it was a mini highway. So for a highway traversing through a residential area, actually a highway shouldn't have accesses. It should only have intersections. But then with the huge development that we're having in Ezulwini, we find ourselves then having to have accesses from the MR103 road to the residential roads, which are a lower class as compared to the MR103. So as I've mentioned before, when designing roads, the most important thing is safety. The reason we have that median just below the ICC on the junction to Mpumalanga Crescent Road, it was a matter of safety. Provisions to access the Emerald Road was, the Mpumalanga Road was through the traffic circles, which are just at the end of the other side near the MTN, and also the other side by SRA. Then you would have to make a turn there and then safely access the Mpumalanga Crescent Road. Yes, we understand it has been a challenge for the marketers, or rather the market, which is just below, opposite the Greyhound. Yes, I know they've been hit hard by the introduction of the median, which becomes a challenge to huge vehicles turning back, especially buses turning back to then go and access the market. But then, with the request of introducing an access to the Mpumalanga Crescent Road, I would say it would be a bit steep. However, we are going to engage with the Ministry of Public Works and see if it is really viable or possible to then introduce a right turn going down. But then the issue with right turns, there are a bit of a challenge with right turns, because if we introduce a right turn going down to Mpumalanga Road from the SRA side going to Mpumalanga Road, you'd find that some other vehicles would not respect the speed limits. They would come at high speeds, and then you yourself, you'll be turning down. They will not slow down, and then there'll be a possibility of a fatality. So when designing roads, we make sure we put safety first, and then with the next follows, which is your accessibility and rideability and all the likes. So, Mr. Pitt, we will look into it, discuss with the ministry and see if ever we can assist on that one. And then there was the issue of rezoning. I would request my colleague to respond on this one. And then the issue of cable theft, I don't know if SPTC would like to respond on that one, but if ever you are in a position to respond, you can address the issue of copper.
Thank you, MC. May I respond to the concern on rezoning applications? Ideally, the process of a rezoning application has public participation is an important part of it. When there's been objections, then there's a process of following how these objections are dealt with, and these issues need to be addressed. And in this particular case with this application, I may not be aware of the details of it. I would like to request Mr. Zindela that maybe we discuss this one and see how we can then engage the developer in addressing your issues now, because the development has already been implemented. But as an office, we are looking to ensure that the public process is done diligently when it comes to rezoning all applications, whether it's rezoning or special consent, even the establishment of a home office, there needs to be a public participation process that is followed. And the process goes all the way up to the ministry if ever there is an appeal. If your issues are not being addressed adequately, you have the opportunity to also appeal at the ministry. So these are the processes that we will ensure that they are followed. But I will request that we address this one so we can try and find solutions to the challenges that you have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nobile Makakule from EPTC. I think as an organization, we had been faced with a huge challenge and catastrophe, I could say, especially in Ezulwini with regards to copper cable theft. Our trucks and our teams had actually over the years set up residents right by the bridge just before Happy Valley. And after the hospital to your left, EPH hospital, we were there every day. Not because in the absence of anything to do, but to replace copper. we'd put in copper today, the following day, we'd be back there with our copper cable stolen. And the effect this has had on the provision of service as an organization to the residents of Ezulwini and to businesses in Ezulwini has been very dire. When we found that our customers have gone on for many months without service because of copper cable theft. As a result, the organization has now gone into a strategy of re-engineering our network, and now we are putting fiber. Ezulwini was our first point of contact where we put fiber. Fiber brings with it obviously even more benefits than copper, because we find that our customers are now able to experience high-speed internet, undisturbed internet. We have been able to successfully deploy fiber to Mantenga, to Matlanganisa, and also to Goje townships. And we are moving at a great speed in ensuring that the whole of Ezulwini is covered in fiber. We must, however, point out that we now then are moving away from the copper cable theft issues that we were faced with, and we have, however, seen an increase in vandalization of the fiber itself. So we are finding that there are so many areas, in the new areas where we've deployed fiber, there we just find the fiber cut for no reason, because fiber, once it's not actually used for communication purposes, there's really no use for it. There's nothing that you can do to it. But we are seeing increased cases of vandalism. We are preferring to term it as malicious damage, because honestly we think that now this is going beyond an instance where we're saying we had so many people stealing copper to go and sell it. We do not understand what is happening with the fiber that is being cut and left. And this is at great detriment to the residents of Ezulwini. It's also at great detriment to the businesses in Ezulwini. You can imagine, with all the malls and all the businesses, the hotels, come weekend, you cannot use your ATM, you cannot swipe with your card in to get any of the services. If you can't, you're at Happy Valley, you cannot swipe for dinner. You try to go across to the Gables and you want to withdraw cash, you won't be able to withdraw cash. And this has become such a regular occurrence that people will always say that it's the network. It's not the network, it's theft and it's vandalism. And Ezulwini is one of our greatest concerns. We are also thinking as an organization of moving into the council representatives, the community watch groups, to say, as residents of Ezulwini, we need to look after our infrastructure so that we can get the best service out of it. Communication is key. It's not only key for talking to each other on a daily basis. We have a major hospital in Ezulwini, which about 90% of the machines in there are run on communication lines. So you can only imagine if they don't have our fiber lines, it means that patients in ICU, patients going to radiology, patients looking for scans, and all the equipment in these great institutions that have been brought to Ezulwini cannot be used because the communication lines have been vandalized. So we really do appeal to the community of Ezulwini to please look after this network It belongs to us for us to be able to use, and more importantly, for us to be able to be assisted through it. We do have our offices at the Gables Telecenter, and we are currently running out our fiber installation from as little as 650 in Malangeni. We are now connected on uninterrupted internet services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mage Makakula, SPTC, for that submission. I think with the issue of vandalism, we'd have to see how the municipality can assist. Maybe have your network for Ezulwini, and then we'd have regular or constant patrols around that infrastructure, especially the vulnerable locations, and see how we can assist as a municipality. Mr. Pitt, you have your hand up.
Thank you. In response to the request for different wards to help with patrol, etc., I would just like to clarify one thing. There was over 100 meters of copper cable down from the Tisuga Road, stolen all the way down in Mpumalanga Road. Councillor Hlope and myself were called to the scene. We managed to apprehend, well, we confiscated the vehicle of the thieves. We got about 100 meters of very thick copper cable. The cell phone of the thieves was left in the car. The police eventually came, they loaded all the cable into the police vehicle, and which hardly fitted into one of those vans. We pointed out that the cell phone of the thieves was still in the car. So when they got a tow truck, they towed the car away to Lobamba, and they had the cell phone with all the access of all the contacts within that thieving community. That was in February this year. Since then, no one's had any internet or lines down that part of Mpumalanga Road. And what we understand was that the vehicle was given back to the owner. The cell phone, no one knows what's happened to it. Maybe it's still being investigated, but 9 months later is hardly called an investigation. So they had all the contact details on that phone. And so when we reported to Post and Telecoms, they thanked us, and now no one seems to know where that 100 meters of cable is. It went to Lobamba, and from there we don't know. Not that it's our duty to know, but they could have had the decency to update the community. So that's where part of your copper is, and maybe some of the thieves would have been contactable on that phone. So the neighborhood watch is monitoring. We are driving around at night. We are trying to sort of intercept. But please, could you share with us the emergency number if we do see it in future? The one not to call the police, but to call the people in charge at SPTC. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pitt. May I take just one last one? Thank you for that information. I think we'll have to make follow-ups with the Eswatini Police Services on that case. Thank you, Mr. Pitt. May I have just these two? Okay, last three submissions, and then we wrap up.
Bongosi Spanza from Kochi Township. Concerning fiber, I've had some experience with fiber installation, and I've noticed that some of the fiber lines, if not most of them, are overhead. Why don't you do like, why doesn't SPTC do like other countries and put the entire fiber line underground? It will be safer, it will be difficult to get into, it won't be vandalized. Yes, it may cost more, but it's costing us, the consumers, way more. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spanze, for that contribution. Mr. Hoss, you had your hand up.
Well, thank you very much. I think nearly all of us, we have suffered in one way or another of copper theft at Ezulwini. My question is it possible for our council to use their influence maybe in government to make the punishment for copper theft, to increase this? Because I think the punishment for copper theft is too lenient. In most countries in the world, if you're caught interfering with water, telephone, electricity, in any country it is treated as high treason. But I don't think it is dealt with in such a manner in our country. Is it possible for the town council perhaps to influence our government to look into this matter? Because it's an ongoing thing. Now that we're getting fiber, thank you very much. It is a beautiful thing, and it's the most modern technology in the world, which we get here at Ezulwini, but even that is not safe. So my question is there a possibility for our town council to influence government to look into that matter, that the punishment for such interferences is dealt with in a more severe manner? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoss, for that contribution. However, when it comes to punishment and laws, you know, I think those are some concerns that should then be reported or rather transferred to government, and maybe see if maybe they can then increase or rather maybe look at ways to punish criminals that vandalize such structures. But I don't know if the council would have a comment on this one. But then, yes, I do understand your concern. Maybe just to try and increase the punishment, or maybe have some sort of punishment that would then deter criminal doers from vandalizing this infrastructure. Councillor Hlope, you had your hand up.
Morning, everyone. Mine is very short because most of my points have been covered by Mr. Pete, and it's about the MR103 road. I think we do have to do something about it at the intersection because of the volume of the traffic that's increasing daily. Please, Mr. Engineer, have a good look at that intersection. Because if you don't, we have to have a look at how Mpumalanga Drive is increased, that road that runs down to the municipality. It's so small, we have combis that are reversing down that road, which can cause a fatal accident. So we need to see, because now people, they try to go back to Mpumalanga, because if you use the other route to using Kodak Way, you still have to come back down to ERS, so which becomes very tedious to go through there. So we have to have a look at maybe getting that road widen up or something. I think something can be done, or open up that space for the intersection, although it's dangerous. And I know you were trying to get everybody safe, but there's even, as my mayor covered the bus stops. There are not even bus stops there for people to wait for public transport. There's just nothing. And then the intersection, of course, it was closed up. Can we really seriously have a look at that, how we can resolve that problem, Mr. Engineer? Back to SPDC. SPDC is just a comment. Now, as you said, Margaret, that you are installing fiber. Such developments, I think some of them must go through the municipality, so that the neighborhood would know that there's a certain development that has been done in the community, because people just wear overalls, and more especially the SPTC copper cables. People wearing overalls, SPTC overalls, and lowering the cables during the day. Then during that, they'll just come and cut it. As Mr. Peter said, on the 6th of February, we had that scenario whereby we gave them over 100 meters cable, phone, and for us, as we were cut, we become very disappointed the way things are handled at times. You think if you give people such exhibits and things to work on, and then you get zero after that, it dampens the spirits. So SPTC as well, they must let us know that these developments are happening so that the neighborhood can have a look at what they can do, as I've mentioned. I don't know if water services is here. One point for them, it's the manhole that were installed in Mpumalanga Drive. There's just one manhole that is just next to the municipality. It has damaged cars. It's just too close and it's too high. I don't know what they can do about it, whether they put a speed hump there or lower it. I don't know if it's possible. I know somebody was given that tender to install those sewer lines, but I think they were also responsible to monitor that if they were installed correctly. And it's not only that one. In my property, there's one other property that I haven't developed. There's just one which is about 1 meter high, just in front of the gate. Because the property wasn't developed, they just installed a meter high manhole. I don't know if they're here, if they can help us in that regard. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor, for your questions. I will respond. Unfortunately, that's in my office. With the issue of increased traffic and proposed bus stops, as the CEO has mentioned in his annual report, we have developed a comprehensive transport plan for Ezulwini. And then your concerns, which you are mentioning, the issue of accommodating the current traffic and also future traffic that is going to come to Ezulwini, looking at the developments that are occurring in town. They will look into that, especially the issue of bus stops and also increased accessibility of vehicles within the stretch of Ezulwini Municipality. And then with the issue of manholes, yes, we are noting that we will work together with the water services to see how we can assist with the issue of manholes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wrap up. I see it has been a fruitful meeting, and we really appreciate your inputs and feedback, and also lashes. And we will incorporate those comments and inputs as we are preparing our budget for the next financial year. And also we would be working hard to implement the last part of our ITP as we are towards the end of our ITP program. And we will also be continuing to engage with yourselves. So this kind of meetings, I see that they are very important. I can see the way you've been attentive in this meeting and also the engagements. It shows that we should constantly have this kind of meetings regularly so that we get feedback and get proper direction on the programs of the town as we grow the town to be this beautiful destination of tourism, as Mr. Horse is vouching. So with those words said, I would like to thank everyone for taking time to come to be with us, the various stakeholders to be with us, and also the contributions that we have made. And if you haven't made any contributions, we do have our website, we do have social media platforms, and also our telephone line. But for now, one line is working. Since the representative from SPT is mentioned, they are vandalizing their infrastructure. We've only one line that's working, which is 2417-1747, 2417-1747. You can still make contributions through the line or via the emails, or maybe you can even come to the office and submit if ever you get home and then be like, have a thought. With those few words, I would say thank you for coming, and we will be working together to improve Ezulwini we'll be working together to improve Ezulwini. Thank you so much. May I request the mayor to then give us maybe closing remarks, and then we pray and then we close. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shongwe. Mine is to thank you all for such an attendance. It's very, very much appreciated. We cannot be Ezulwini without you. And what I earlier on alluded to say, let us participate where we are called, and we are going to make Ezulwini a great town. With those few remarks, thank you to all stakeholders, the information that you received today, some of which we cannot directly tell you, but the relevant stakeholders have helped us to understand certain things that go on in the town. With those few remarks, thank you again. I hope you do come to the next meeting that we shall call, and do attend to your ward meetings. And if anyone wants to meet their ward councillors, this is the time after we've just closed, just to get their numbers and know who they are. And then you'll be able to engage fruitfully with them. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord God, for leading us through this session. It has been such a wonderful, comprehensive session. We thank you, my God, for creating this platform to interact with our stakeholders and residents. Give us, my God, the guidance as we push this town to higher heights, and as we improve the living standards of the people of Ezulwini. With this, we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.